Good evening, everyone. Can I ask you all please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's town board meeting. It is August 12th, 2025. As you know, our agenda tonight, we have 3 public hearings. The town board, due to the fact that summertime, people are on vacation, we have no intention of closing any of the public hearings. They will continue. You all have the right to send in comments, ask questions until the next public hearing. I will ask Emily if she would read the public notice on the battery energy storage unit.
Notice of public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to consider a proposed local law prohibiting battery energy storage systems within the town. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held before the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant, Town Hall, 1 Town Hall Plaza, Valhalla, New York, 10595, on the 12th day of August, 2025 at 7:00 p.m. for the purpose of considering a proposed local law amending Town Code Chapter 218 prohibiting battery energy storage systems within the town. Please take further notice. A copy of the proposed local law is available for review in the town clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing upon said proposed local law, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed amendment and also those opposed thereto. Dated July 18th. 2025.
Thank you. All this information is in the town clerk's office, also online. At this time, the public hearing is open. Anyone who wishes to speak on this topic is welcome to do so. We have been talking about the battery energy storage system for quite a few months now, but it's open for anybody to make a comment if they like to do that this time.
Good evening, Carlo Hawthorne, New York. Just a couple of notes on the many communities that have either limited, banned, or restricted battery energy storage system known as BESS. You have moratoriums that include Babylon, North Hempstead, Smithtown, Southampton, South Hope, Riverhead, Huntington, Islip, Glen Cove, Oyster Bay, Staten Island, Morris Heights, Carmel, Waynesburg, Yorktown, Brookhaven, Huntington, Islip, Southampton, Staten Island, West Sparta, Town of York, Geneseo, Evans, and there's many more. Just want to encourage the board that, just to let them know that Mount Pleasant isn't alone in this. There are dozens of towns, communities, and so on within the state of New York and other states as well. And, you know, just to tag on to it, motivation behind the restrictions often stems from public concerns. That's obviously present here. Best technology, particularly lithium-ion batteries, documented incidents of fires, several facilities across New York since 2023. And as you know, we've raised concerns about it. And I just want to encourage you to keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
As you know, Westchester County has given us their input on this. They would like the town of Mount Pleasant, as with any other community, to approve these, which we do not agree with, but we'll make that formal comment to the county, though.
Good for you. Dominic Vita, Hawthorne. You all look nicely sunned.
Excuse me?
I said, good for you. That's good. I agree with you. And they did a copy of that letter to Mount Kisco, by the way, and they read it into the record
Everybody.
yesterday. Everybody got the same letter from the county. So I want to start with a thank you. So again, Dominic Vita, Hawthorne. I want to start with a thank you. Thank you for not sacrificing safety for convenience. And with the benefit of hindsight from what has happened elsewhere, thank you for having the foresight to not give in to the pressures from seemingly everywhere, including the county, to put more BESS in Mount Pleasant. When it comes to BESS, scale matters. The larger the BESS system, the more and wider the impacts it can have. There may not be any safe place in the town of Mount Pleasant to site a large-scale BESS that uses lithium-ion batteries, considering how densely populated the town is and the risks involved from thermal runaway, fires, and toxicity from gases released during those fires. A ban of these large-scale BESS makes good sense. Updated fire codes and electrical safety standards won't necessarily prevent a fire from occurring due to thermal runaway in these lithium-ion BESS systems. Even the newer ones, touted as safer, can still go into thermal runaway and combust. And those fires burn on and on until they burn out, causing widespread disruption and worse. I do think you should consider focusing the ban on Tier 2 front-of-the-meter BESS systems, those with an aggregate energy capacity greater than 600 kilowatt hours, as scale-wise, those pose the largest, the largest threat to our town considering their size. And your proposed language may prevent homeowners and businesses who are trying to lower their electric costs from installing and using behind-the-meter systems with battery packs, generators, and solar storage. So please consider some language amending the proposed code to not disallow these smaller scale behind-the-meter systems. The risks and costs from existing Tier 2 BESS in town should be covered in every way possible, including ensuring those BESS owners are bearing the extra costs of training our first responders, necessary PPE, environmental testing while the BESS is in use, cleaning up after any catastrophe, and covering the costs for any potential impacts to our community's physical or financial well-being arising from the Tier 2 BESS, perhaps from additional insurance, a bond, or both. Finally, to address some prevailing arguments made by proponents for a Tier 2 lithium-ion BESS, and I've been monitoring Terrytown and Mount Kisco and what's going on there. Tier 2 BESS itself is not renewable energy. On its own, when not paired with solar, wind, or hydroelectricity generation, standalone BESS may not necessarily contribute to greening the grid. Tier 2 BESS may not necessarily be for the community's benefit. I think we need to understand better the kinds of arrangements that current BESS operators enter into, for instance, with large data centers, including ones several miles away, to know if the town in which BESS are sited and its residents who are taking on all the risks and extra costs for doing so are getting any real net benefit or coverage from that BESS system if the grid goes down. And hearing that safety concerns being discussed by the town citizens are overblown or part of some collective misunderstanding of just how safe BESS is very disturbing gaslighting. Let's not cede the management of risks over to those who tell you there's nothing to worry about after what we've seen over the past 5 years. Big shout out to Carlo, who just spoke, who brought this up a couple of years ago in July. To all of you from the Hawthorne Fire Department, I'd like to thank him and them separately for what they've done to bring this to the fore in this town. Are the owners taking safety seriously or putting profits ahead of safety concerns? Private companies are in this for the money. That is their primary focus, not safety. Thank you for not giving in to the pressures being exerted to install more BESS in Mount Pleasant. Whether it is coming from the state, the county, private equity-backed BESS owners, and their hired hand lawyers and their paid, biased experts, or out-of-town developers looking to once again enrich themselves at our town's expense. Trust your good judgment on this issue and ban Tier 2 BESS. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address this topic?
Hi, Fran Corlucci, Hawthorne. So obviously you all know I've been here enough times that I support the passage of the ban. I just wanted to say for people in the room or people who might be live streaming, people who might watch the recording later, there's a lot of, my entire neighborhood's on vacation. There's no one in my neighborhood. But I think you've gotten a lot of emails in advance. But I want to say a couple of quick things. One, and the board knows this, I've already sent an email, there's a site that the developer Aquest put out called crosscountybest.com. They're the potential developer for a very large scale facility on Solomon River Road, 9A. They also are the Amazon builders and the other warehouse next to it. If you look at that site, and obviously this board has no control over what that developer puts out, but it almost implies like it's a done deal. I find very disturbing, and I'd love at some point to hear from you, maybe not tonight, but when they say on their website, this would be a long-term asset to the town of Mount Pleasant. I'd love how that translates, other than maybe you get taxes, which anything that's going to be built there, you're going to get taxes. And me personally, my husband, my son are both volunteer firefighters at Hawthorne. When you look at what happened in Warwick in 2023, they had to sit there. The police, the fire, hazmat teams just had to sit there while burned. These are working people who give up their time, put themselves at risk to protect us, and to think that at some point, if these facilities are here and can catch fire, are they supposed to sit there for 24 hours for 1 day, 2 days, a week? And I keep going back to something Ms. Smalley had said, which is, we were told by a lot of people years ago that it was safe to go back to New York after 9/11, that toxicity wasn't going to hurt anyone, and boy, do we know differently. And I worked down there, and I know people I did affidavits for many people who became ill with cancer after that event, who went down because they were told it was safe. So, past this ban, somewhere there'll be technology that they can put these fires out. Maybe they'll get chemicals or some other suppressants that can put these out that will have less danger. But right now, it's too dangerous. We have the two we have. I know Tom is working on, emergency response plans for what exists today. Hopefully that'll help when whether it's the state or the county, the developers come at you, because I'm sure they're going to. But just know you have the support of the community when they do come at you. And very grateful that you're putting the safety and soundness of this community first, and dealing with what we already have, and not letting something like 130 megawatt facility is what's being proposed to go basically less than a mile from where I live personally, but the whole town would be affected. So really important. Thank you so much. And I think you're going to hold the meeting over, but I look forward to hearing that you guys have passed it. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address of course?
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and members of the board. Robert Gaudioso with the law firm of Snyder & Snyder. I'm appearing on behalf of New Leaf Energy. As you know, New Leaf has had an application for a 5 megawatt BESS facility at 115 Wall Street in Mount Pleasant since early 2024. I did submit a letter dated August 6th. I hope you've had an opportunity to review it. I think it focused on 3 key issues, which I'll just hit from a high level. Number one, we don't believe there's a legal or a factual basis to support a prohibition of BESS. Number two, we believe that the BESS facilities are necessary under state law, and they're also essential public utility services. And number three, and most importantly, we believe the prohibition will simply result in applicants seeking use variances and the boards being unable to regulate with a comprehensive set of regulations because there will just be a use variance standard. So number one, we don't believe there's a legal basis, specifically because we don't believe the record supports an outright prohibition. The enabling whereas clauses, refer to a handful of other codes. There are certainly other codes, even here in the county, most recently Tarrytown, also Croton-on-the-Hudson, that do regulate BESS. Also, the representation that, that there is press coverage from other facilities, we don't believe that supports a prohibition either. The town board, when it enacted the moratorium approximately a year ago, it specifically mentioned the fact that that it was waiting for the governor's working group and the draft state fire code amendments to be adopted. And since that time, in fact, on July 25th, 2025, those amendments have been adopted to the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code. What we submitted was a declaration from former FDNY officials speaking to those new state code provisions and the safety of BESS, and that was attached to our letter. I hope we've had an opportunity to review that. Secondly, we believe BESS is clearly necessary. Your own code, Chapter 167, speaks to the policy of both the town of Mount Pleasant and the state of New York to, quote, achieve energy efficiency and renewable energy goals, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, mitigate the effect of global climate change, and advance a clean energy economy. And that's Town Code Section 167-1A. As you know, in 2019, New York State adopted the New York State Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, or what we call the Climate Act. I've spoken about that before, and New York State's goals and requirements for a clean energy grid. In fact, on June 20th, 2024, the PSC put out a new order entitled In the Matter of Energy Storage Deployment Program, Order Establishing Updated Energy Storage Goal and Deployment Policy. And that's the Energy Storage Roadmap Order. And that lays out what New York State requires with respect specifically to battery energy storage. The introduction states, quote, storage technologies are a key piece of the solution to ensure the reliability of New York's electric system. And that's an important component. It's not just renewable energy, it's also the reliability of the grid. In fact, you mentioned earlier the Westchester County Planning Board Chair's letter dated July 21st, 2025, stating, quote, we disagree that a ban on the installation of BESS facilities is appropriate and recommend disapproval of the proposed law. And then that letter goes on to lay out the reasons why BESS is essential and a necessary component to the grid. And finally, it's just a matter of law that if a use is prohibited under zoning, there's always the option for a use variance. And that's what will be pursued by developers because of the fact that BESS is essential. It's not going away. It will be here, and your boards will be left without the regulations such as the NYSERDA code, which includes various provisions that now your proposed code is trying to backtrack on for the existing facilities. So again, we would ask you to exempt the New Leaf facility from the code. We believe but for the moratorium, which was extended, the facility would have been operational by now. And in any event, we would ask you not to adopt the ban and enact instead regulations that allow these facilities to be sited properly throughout the municipality. Thank you.
The town board didn't get a chance to receive your paperwork yet, but they will get it tonight.
Great.
So it gives them the opportunity to review it before our next public hearing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on this?
Good evening, Supervisor Fulgenzi and members of the board. My name is Jesse Peterson. I'm the director for BESS with Catalyze Energy. We're based out of Purchase, so we're not far from here. We don't actually have an application in front of planning or any other board within Mount Pleasant, but I did want to come tonight, as I did in Mount Kisco, to say a few comments, given there is an active application in front of the board, but also to offer some assistance if the board or even the fire departments, including Hawthorne, would be open to it. I myself am a certificate of fitness holder in New York City. I've worked as an EPC and have installed, hopefully you can hear me, and have installed a number of these systems in New York City. We, of course, are looking at Zone I or Westchester County due to precipitous increase in load and where best use cases make the most sense. And we not only do installations in New York City and other states, but we are looking at these other zones where we expect congested load pockets to materialize, and the use case for BESS is appropriate. So what I would like to do first is extend an invitation to this board or any other stakeholders within the town of Mount Pleasant, including the Hawthorne Fire Department, to come to one of our operating sites and do a really hands-on, tactile kind of learning experience. With us, we can talk about the operational side of the BESS installation, the business cases, the reasons why we do this. But also, we work with fire protection engineers in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, who can assist in that training and provide the department's first responders, second responders, representatives from 60 Control or Hazmat would like to attend. We have a good amount of experience with this, particularly with FDNY, and do this on a regular basis. This is something that I'm sure the developer would be open to who has an active application in front of this board. We would expect that of any developer. There are best practices, obviously, that have been captured by the latest adoption of the New York State Fire Code that directly reflect the experiences that we've seen in New York City with Rule 608. This includes subject matter experts who provide 24/7 remote monitoring and remote monitoring support, particularly in the unlikely event of a thermal runaway situation. That too needs to be contextualized. But those individuals are obligated under the new fire code as hazard mitigation personnel. They are to be available to first responders within 15 minutes by phone and in person within 4 hours. In the city, it's 2 hours. But again, it's just one example of many, including peer review, including hazard mitigation analyses, and including site familiarization training for first responders that was adopted at the state level back on July 25th, just last month. So that is primarily why I'm here, is that I feel like and it's not just me, I'm sure there are other developers that think there's a great deal of misinformation about this technology, its use cases, the reasons why developers do this. Yes, we provide a service to the grid. It's a grid support system for front-of-the-meter technologies like the ones that are being discussed here. We expect to be paid for that, and we want to do it safely, and it can be managed. What I think is missed often is that a lot of the, particularly from the fire departments, they don't want to be left in the lurch, and we get that. That's the important role for these hazard mitigation personnel, usually fire protection engineers, that can provide this kind of service, that can stand for fire watch if there is an incident, and the volunteer firefighters have to cycle through, and they can't stand on site for hours at a time if it's a 4 to 6 hour burn. I've heard some mentions of multi-day burns. I think the fires in 2023, due to frankly poor design, or maybe that's my time. But in any case, I just want to impart that to the board, make sure that those previous incidents are understood, and that the education and outreach that's necessary for first responders, second responders, boards, and that information can be shared and socialized appropriately so people are in the know. I'm happy to leave my card with the administrator if anybody is interested in doing such an on-site training.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
As much as everyone is very interesting on this topic, I appreciate if we can limit the comments to 3 minutes. Gives the opportunity for everybody to be heard.
Just a point of correction. 2025 building code wasn't approved yet. That was, what was approved in July 25 was an update to improve the All-Electric Building Acts of 2023. The problem isn't about the service. Basically what it all comes down to is dollars. The issue is the grid itself. It's an aging grid. It hasn't been upkept. So much so that there is a need for electricity because the state enacted a ban on all conventional fuels for residential in 2026 and commercial in 2029 with some stipulations in there as well. But also in earlier this year, there was in June of this year, there was a contract to go ahead with the new nuclear power plant upstate New York. So if the state is going to try to push and enact a single version of how we're going to get our power, which is the most idiotic thing possible. Everybody knows you got to diversify in basically everything. That's a head start. These BESS systems are going to be paid for out of our pocket through incentives or tax dollars. It always comes down to dollars itself. The problem itself is the grid, because it's aging. It needs to be, and these are just Band-Aids, because basically 2 hours, 4 hours, depending on the size of the BESS system. You know, they're not there producing power, they're holding power. And it's not a solution. It's a temporary Band-Aid. The solution is fix the grid, provide energy for New York the way it's supposed to be, diversify your energy. That's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Ron Kamen. I'm representing the Business Council of Westchester, the Clean Energy Action Coalition. As you guys may know, the Business Council represents some over 1,200 businesses in the county. They started the Clean Energy Action Coalition because of the concern about the availability of power. Without power, we can't run our businesses, we can't run our homes, and basically power is key, electricity is key to everything that makes our civilization work right now. This Clean Energy Action Coalition is 110 different businesses that are acting right now to promote the adoption of clean energy. And the reason why peaker plants are so important is that it is correct. If they're paired with solar, that's the best. But when they're not paired with solar, what happens during peak periods of time is that we're relying on fossil fuels, some of the dirtiest power plants in the state, to spew out that energy so that we can keep going. And while it is true that battery costs are expensive, they're not as expensive as not doing anything. Right now, we're seeing massive rate increases, partially because we have to improve the grid and bring in new transmission, but also because during those peak times, New York State consumers spend $4.5 billion on the peaker plants. In addition, those peaker plants are surrounding us. We're bringing them in by transmission, which is good. But the more local control you have, the more local power you have, the better ability you have to then sustain yourselves during all the different outages. This summer, we've had already 3 different emergencies in Westchester, right? You guys are familiar with the flooding. I don't have to tell you about it. I don't have to tell you about what happens when the power goes out. Increasing amount of power failures are happening more and more often. There's thousands of people. And when that happens, my question to you is, what's that worth? When somebody is without power for hours, okay. Days, not so good. A week, really bad. What these battery energy storage systems do is they help support the grid. They help keep power going. The more local you have it, the more resilient you are, the more reliable your grid is, the more likely it is that you're going to be able to get through the next wave of climate events, of disruption, of grid events, of everything else. So to my esteemed fellows, fire is dangerous. There is no doubt that none of us want a fire. Any fire these days is toxic. Your couch goes on fire. It's toxic. These BESS systems are actually well designed, they're well monitored, they're well engineered. In front of you is the Fire Safety Declaration on Battery Energy Storage, which is signed by 4 former FDNY, they are chiefs, battalion chiefs, assistant chief, lieutenant and co-founder.
I see it.
I'll just say this. These systems are very highly monitored, 24/7. They're safer than the batteries that you have in your laptops, than we have in our cell phones, because they are so highly monitored and they are so highly regulated. I urge you to take a look at the statement that we submitted, to look at the fire department piece, and before you go passing a ban, just think about the potential for you to have more local control over your power, just like you got outside, but to have that 24/7 with a battery energy storage system. Thank you very much.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You mentioned the outages, like during a storm.
I'm sorry?
You mentioned outages during a storm.
Sure.
Are most of those outages caused by local transmission lines failing, trees, and
All different sorts of reasons. But yes, absolutely, that's part of it, right?
so if you have that
it's-
BESS and that's operational, let's say, how is that power going to get to you if the power
So
line's
if it's
cut?
your local tree that fell on your line, yeah, it's not going to help you.
Right.
But if you're
Right.
talking about the grid as a general for your community, right, and there's a stress on the grid because everybody's turning on their air conditioners because it's extremely hot, or the other side that it's extremely cold, or for whatever reason, when that grid is stressed out, that one event can cascade What battery energy storage does is it keeps that power constant so that you have that availability, so it keeps the grid up. And even though your particular line, if a tree takes it out, you won't have power for that particular time until you fix that particular line. What happens is that the grid in your neighborhood stays up. And that's a really important key thing to community and to keeping the businesses going and to keeping the rest of the neighborhoods going.
Thank you.
Other questions? No?
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wonder if we would even be talking about best systems if New York State may have properly planned the elimination of Indian Point and the mandates to go electric cars, electric appliances, heating and air conditioning. Maybe some planning on the state's level might have been a little bit better. That's my opinion, of course.
So I didn't use my 3 minutes last time, I'm gonna grab an extra minute. Just, you know, I've been doing this for 2 years, you guys know. I've never made this a green, non-green. It's not an anti-green. It's not an anti-alternative energy. It's put it in someplace that's safe. And I think what drove this ban is, when you look at Mount Pleasant, there is no safe radius for it to sit without hitting a vulnerable population. And most of you grew up here, lived here a long time. Do you remember we had that tornado? That took out child care centers, Crestview Manor Home. You know, that was a natural, unseen event. This would have the same effect. If there was a proximity that wouldn't put Westchester Medical Center, Maria Ferrari Hospital, Blightdale, homes. Again, I know some of the locations, there's schools, there's child care centers. Great, find a place. There is no place in Mount Pleasant that fits that vicinity. So it's not anti, it's find a safe place for it. That's all that's being asked, and I think this ban is being driven because there is no safe place in the town of Mount Pleasant for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to talk on this topic? Good evening.
I'm here this evening. I'm Tom Abenanti. I'm speaking as a resident of the unincorporated area, not on behalf of anyone else. First of all, I want to thank you and the board for responding to the community's concerns. I share the concerns of what could happen to the community if something went wrong with one of these big facilities. But I'm not going to get involved in how best to deal with that. I'll leave you and the experts to deal with that. I just want to raise one other aspect of this, and that is with the increase in the cost of Con Edison and the delivery of electricity. Many of us have resorted to other ways of cutting down our electric bill. I've put solar on the roof of my house, and I'm looking forward to someday maybe getting off the grid and having some kind of electric storage. And I would just ask that in your deliberations, you consider that. I don't know how you deal with that issue. I would just ask your experts, because many of us are trying to find a way to get around these high Con Ed costs. So I just ask in your deliberations, you take a look at these, you know, the mini ones, the small businesses, the homeowners, and people like that. And that's also a different type of business. You know, you've got plumbers and electricians who install these devices in homes. I'm not sure what stage we're at. I'm not sure how safe they are. I haven't put one in yet, and you know, I'm still exploring it. But I would just ask you to consider that when you look at how best to draft the legislation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Regards to the Con Ed rates, we're all upset about the rates. 98% of the supervisors in probably Westchester County are challenging Con Edison and their rates presently. Anyone else like to speak on this topic?
Good evening, Town Board. Paul Skoka, Fire Commissioner here in Hawthorne. We've actually had some multiple conversations on this, and although we do have the majority of our department is strongly opposed to these BESS facilities until we learn a little bit more about them. Just listening to some of the commentary tonight, I mean, there's really nothing more than I can say. We've been getting a lot of calls and calls and emails from townspeople asking the fire department what we're doing regarding the support to the town's ban for these BESS facilities. And the gentleman right here, again, we welcome any opportunity that we can to learn more about these facilities, to try to make a good judgment call on there. But I'd just like to keep in mind, Hawthorne Fire Department is not like Fire Department in New York. Okay, Fire Department in New York, they have technical expertise, they have multiple areas of expertise that they have down there. You're dealing with a bunch of volunteer firefighters over here. Okay, so we don't have the same criteria as FDNY. Granted, you have battalion chiefs and everything else that are supporting what the fire suppression techniques and things of that nature. We don't have that technical expertise up here. So I'd like the town board to just understand that although we're willing to learn more about the facilities and how we can suppress these things, we don't have the technical expertise that FDNY has. What else did I have? Yeah, up until this point, until we have an opportunity also to take a look at this new fire code, the last time we had training with either New Leaf or Alquest, we were told that, you know, we'd get a call if we had a fire in these facilities within 4 hours. I'm glad to see that there's going to be a response based on this new fire code, but up until this point, that's all we were told, that we would get a call from somebody to tell us what to do with these to tell us what to do with these types of fires. So, like I said, yeah, again, I'll trade some contact information with you. We'd be welcome to the opportunity to learn more about how to suppress these fires and try to give our firefighters an opportunity to make a judgment call. But you know, right now, most of the fire department, we're strongly opposed to putting more of these facilities within our township. The other thing we'd like to know is why such a concentration in just the town of Mount Pleasant. As was said tonight, there's quite a few areas that are more suitable for these type of facilities, and we live in a very populated town, so we don't want to see any harm come to the townspeople in this town as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks.
Anyone else like to speak on this topic? If there be no further speakers, I would entertain a motion to continue this public hearing to September, the second Tuesday in September. We have the date on it.
The 9th?
I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing
Yes, the 9th.
on this topic, BESS.
September 9th.
September 9th, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll second.
Motion by Tom, second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you to all the
Thank you.
speakers, too.
Thanks for coming out, appreciate it.
Next item is public hearing on increase to our water rates. I'll ask Emily to read the public notice.
Notice of public hearing of the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to consider a local law amending Town Code Chapter 211-8, rates for water consumption. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant, New York shall conduct a public hearing at the Town Hall on the 12th day of August 2025 at 7:00 p.m. to consider a local law amending Town Code Chapter 211-8, rates for water consumption. Please take notice that the draft local law with all amendments to Chapter 211-8, rates for water consumption, is available for review in the Town Clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing, upon said potential amendment, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed local law and also those opposed thereto. Dated July 9th, 2025.
Thank you. We had hoped that David Smith, our Superintendent of Water and Sewer, would have been able to be here this evening, but as with many people in town, he's on vacation. We have an abundance of information to share with the public. It's already on the website and all. I have charts over here which depict rates and changes. As with everything else, we all know everything, cost of everything goes up. Water comes down from the sky free, but it's not free after that. Water treatment, storage, and distribution is very expensive. The rates to the town, we buy water from New York City Water Supply, we buy from Pleasantville, Briarcliff, and Newcastle. All of those rates have been increasing over the years. The town has held those rates steady. We have not gone up on our rates. I think it's over 6 years, do you remember?
6 or 7 years, right?
Since 2018.
18. You can only hold them for so long, you can only absorb so much, and then you have to start increasing rates. And this is what David Smith is trying to do here, to reasonably do it. We all have control over the amount of water we're using. With the new meter systems that we have today, you know if you get a leak, you can watch your usage and all that. So the smart meters have been very beneficial for all of us. But at this time, this public hearing is open. Anyone who wishes to make any comments regarding the water rates is welcome to do so at this time.
Mr. Supervisor, too, I want to clarify that what you said about, so I didn't know this before I was involved on the town board, that what he's saying is not that Newcastle and Pleasantville are raising their rates for their residents. The municipality buys from those other municipalities, and those rates have been increasing for the town of Mount Pleasant that purchases the water. So I just wanted to make sure folks understood that point that you made, that it's not the residents that are enduring those increases, it's been the town that's been absorbing it and not passing it through for all those years. So.
Thought I said that, but it's okay.
Good, you did.
Public hearing is open.
Just a quick question, Dominic Vita, Hawthorne, quick question on the water rate increases and the proposal. And we all get that everything's going up and rates have to increase. There has been a lot of infrastructure work over the past several years. A lot of money has been used either from the reserve fund or from the water line of the budget to pay for these things. It would just be good, we understand the narrative that you've given us. It would be good to see the numbers that go with that. So is there any way, or is there a place where we could see the numbers supporting the need for these increases to these amounts, as well as a forecast supporting the need for these increases? This is exactly what the Board of Ed does when they raise taxes. They say, here's what we've spent in the past, here's what we need to plan for and spend in the future, here's how much we've collected in the past, here's the shortfall, here's what we need from you guys and why we're increasing the rates. I think that's what we need the benefit of whenever there's an increase in water rates. And there really has been a tremendous amount of work, for which I am grateful, on the infrastructure. I mean, there's an approval tonight in the budget of, I think, $250,000 or more than that on some of the infrastructure work. I know some of this is bonds and that kind of thing, the way it's financed, but understanding that from a resident's perspective and supporting the need for an increase as a result of that, and I think you said in the past, New York City's charging more, seeing that I think will help go a long way. So what I'm specifically asking for are those total costs for the water infrastructure projects, being able to see that, past, present, and future, because I know there's more to go. The amounts collected and applied towards those, the amounts used from the reserve on those, if we could see the breakdown, if that's possible. And then the amounts needed for the future operating costs, similar to what you do with the budget. The amounts needed for future operating costs, what we're collecting, what the shortfall is, what we are going to need, and also what portion of that 3% increase is going towards reserve replenishment and keeping, if that's being kept in the water line or if that's being used generally. I know lines shift and need to shift for budgets. We all balance checkbook, so we get it. But just understanding that from our perspective would help go a long way towards swallowing this increase. Thank you.
I think you submitted some of those questions.
I did.
And David will detail those. He already started working on that.
David's awesome.
So we will go over it again at the next public hearing. There are a number of different districts in the town. Each one has their own budget, their own expenses, and their own investments. And he could easily detail that
Perfect.
for you, okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And the budget, as it said. So
Yes.
Board of Education does, it's under the town board. detail every year, don't you?
Yep.
That's true, yeah.
Anyone else like to speak about water? Okay, being no further speakers, I'll entertain a motion to continue this public hearing to September 9th.
So moved.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is a public hearing for a proposed local law amending building lot coverage within the Valhalla Hamlet zoning district. Emily will read the public hearing, and then I would ask town attorney to clarify some of the points on that.
Notice of public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to consider a proposed local law amending Chapter 218 of the Town Code, building lot coverage requirements in the town's Valhalla Hamlet zoning district. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held before the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant at Town Hall, 1 Town Hall Plaza, Valhalla, New York, 10595 on the 12th day of August 2025 at 7:00 p.m. for the purpose of considering a proposed local law amending Town Code Chapter 218, building lot coverage requirements in the town's Valhalla Hamlet zoning district. Please take further notice a copy of the proposed local law is available for review in the town clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing upon said proposed local law, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed amendment and also those opposed thereto.
Thank you. Dennis.
Sure, Mr. Supervisor, thank you. Members of the public. So the town board is considering a local law to transition portions of the zoning in parts of the Valhalla Hamlet zone. Those parts that are contiguous to residential zones and or across the street from residential zones in that Valhalla Hamlet zone for multifamily buildings. I am currently working as a town attorney with the town planner on regulating other uses in the Valhalla Hamlet zone for transition properties, and also in the other Hamlet districts for transition properties. So a little bit of a larger project, so we're looking at that more globally. The thought on the initial proposal for multifamily buildings was that when the 75 North Kensico property was here for the rezoning for the multifamily building, I think everybody thought it was too big. We heard the board say that, we heard the public say that. So with that in mind, not only could that property and other properties in this area that are adjacent to residential zones propose large multifamily buildings, the board thought it was prudent, rather than having the planning board potentially make these buildings smaller, was there a way to legislate it? So they asked myself and Pat Cleary to look at this. We did. Pat then proposed to me and to the board to limit the size of these multifamily buildings by regulating what's called the floor area ratio, or FAR. I think some of you may have heard that terminology before. And also limiting the impervious surface. So on a property, you'll see impervious surface includes the coverage of a building and also driveways, sidewalks that aren't pervious coverage. What essentially that would do is have the effect of limiting the size of buildings and limiting the impact on how big a building can be in terms of the footprint of the building. So that's what's been proposed. Now, we are aware of some comments I know there's been from the public about potential coverage issues versus impervious coverage. Those have been on social media. Those will be looked at. I'm sure they'll be mentioned tonight. So I think the board is ready to hear some comments from the public. And if you have any questions, board, of what this is or what next steps could be, more than happy to answer them. But it may be time for the public to weigh in a little bit on the proposal to essentially limit the size of multifamily buildings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Public hearing is open. Anyone who wishes to speak on this local law is welcome to do so at this time.
Joe Soroselli, Valhalla, right? A couple of comments on the proposal and some, instead of, a little bit of speaking on that it's being looked at, I'd like to maybe address some very specifics of what I identified within the publications that were given. I also, and I'm very thankful that you're keeping the hearings open, because the documentation that was on the website, on the town website, indicated that you were going to be voting tonight based upon the dates of the documents and so forth. So I'm very happy you're keeping it open, so I give you a lot of credit to that. You know, one of the things that I immediately identified was what was also just said by Darius, that it appears that you are trying to take some of the authority of the Planning and Zoning Board away from them by giving, well,
No.
you said,
No, that's not true.
all right, you know, in lieu of maybe guidance to them, then. Maybe I'll rephrase that by giving them guidance on that.
The town board establishes zoning.
Yeah. And then the zoning board establishes
And
whether or not,
planning board will,
whether or not there would be an appeal or a variance or anything of the nature. Having been, no, the planning board does not do the variance, but they establish the code.
No,
No, they don't. We
We do.
establish the
We
code.
established the code.
We establish that.
Yeah.
The town
Where-
board.
that's the purpose of,
Okay, in either case, we look at that and sit back and say, okay, what are we actually talking about, right? And some of the things that we're talking about seem to be a little bit arbitrary, or, you know, on how it's being designed, because
How so?
how so? It is the horseshoe approach to the area that's being described that is in your filing. It looks exactly like a horseshoe, circles around other things, and it appears to benefit one developer.
that's your
That's my opinion.
That could be your, yeah.
It's my opinion, but when you look at it, it's a horseshoe approach, and it seems to,
We welcome your comments.
okay, you know, you asked me how, I gave you the explanation, or what my opinion was on that, right, on that. So that's that piece. The other part is, in your submission to the county, their response pretty much talked exactly what we were, you know, has been discussed, impervious surface, how it's being designed, how much, whatever. You know, I could read, but we recommend that the town ensures that the requirements considered permeable pavement and green roof practices, which I don't know exactly, which would provide mitigation to site coverage and reduce stormwater impacts compared to the totally impervious surfaces. Such practice should be supported. It's out of the letter that the county sent to you in the response to your application for this. Okay, so it's directly there. So there is a concern to that. Where my concern comes in is something that was raised earlier, climate change. We have flooding in the Valhalla Village already. We're going to be covering more service on an upper portion of the hill, right? Which only means that more water can come down the hill. I haven't been here for 3 minutes, right, on that side.
The requirements for property is zero runoff.
Excuse me?
Zero runoff is a
Oh,
requirement.
wholeheartedly. And that brings back to your, you know, your piece where when you look at it, right, again, maybe it will be amended, but when you're looking at impervious surface max at 75%, this is your application, right? That's 3 times what I think it is as we speak right now, right, when you look at it. So that's a significant, you know, change in philosophy. To do 3 times the impervious surface, right? Lot coverage, building max, everything is being designed around how to square. I mean, a 5-foot setback from a residence. Basically, I could be looking. I will say, the town attorney is roughly 5 feet from a wall. That could be the house right there, 5 feet from, you know, a residential residence. I think it's significant. There are a significant number of changes that were submitted to the county in the application. So as the town attorney said, we're looking at this. There's no question about it, but it does seem that it's a very aggressive approach to trying to, you know, fit one development into a residential area is the best way to put
The
it.
reason for a public hearing is to gather information, comments from the public.
Yeah.
We appreciate your comments. They'll all become part of the record.
That's why I'm here.
They'll all be part of what the final decision will be.
Of course, I can't change the decision,
No.
but, you know, I can, and, you
No
know,
decision's been made, so
excuse me?
no decision.
Oh,
has
no,
been
no,
made.
as you said, but I did, based upon documents that were being looked at. There was no explanation whether or not this hearing was going to be postponed. Otherwise, I will tell you, I would have been someplace else tonight. Right? I would have been someplace else, and I would have come back in September. Understand. Right, but that's
Okay.
my comments, and again, everything that I submitted is from your submissions to the county, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just some clarification, Mr. Supervisor. Two issues being considered as part of this law only with respect to multifamily housing in the Valhamlet zone for properties adjacent to residential zones or across the street. Those are, number one, decreasing the impervious surface for those properties from 75% to 55%. 75% has been in the code for 2 years. And reducing and establishing a floor area ratio of 50%. So those are the two things being considered now for multifamily buildings, just so it's clear for the public.
Thank you. Dominic, you should have stood up
I was
front.
just going to say that. I don't know why I said so far away. I want to get steps, I guess. So Dominic Vita Hawthorne. Yes, I don't live in Valhalla. I've spoken out on this before. I attended a few of the meetings. If I understand what Darius was mentioning, there's some consideration being paid to extending this transitional parcel fix to the other hamlet zones. If that is the case, great. If that is not the case, I would ask you to consider that. I would also ask you to consider one other thing, to make those transitional parcels, just the ones on the border, subject to full review. As it stands now, if things meet certain requirements under the comprehensive plan in the hamlet zoning, they don't get that full review. As we saw with the protestations against the movement of the Valhalla Hamlet zone line for one site, the public needs notice and wants a chance to speak up for or against such proposals when they come up. Let them have that as part of this process, is what I'm asking. The comprehensive plan as written doesn't necessarily allow for a full review. We covered that, I'll skip it. For the Hawthorne Hamlet zone, which concerns me, and which is what I spoke up for before, we got hit really hard with that rainstorm that dumped a lot of water in the area and really flooded us out. And I know the comprehensive plan Hamlet zone for Hawthorne has certain areas that are situated right near where that area gets flooded. If we add extra impervious surface, that area or areas near it, other neighborhoods like Brady Avenue can get more flooded. It really is something that should be considered for a full review whenever these things come up in those boundary areas. That's all I have to add. Thanks.
Thank you.
Just so you're clear, Board, on the issue about review that Dominic brought up, there's an administrative provision of the code. There's no review if there is an existing building and they're renovating it, and there's a type 2 action under seeker, which 75 North would be not. So there's a bunch of limited situation where there's no review. There's a prioritized review for another set of circumstances that we will take a look at them vis-a-vis these properties and see if we need to amend those portions of the code too.
Yeah, we did talk about this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this application's under full review.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Full
one is,
review.
yes. That's what we're speaking about, this application, which
Correct.
actually, as far as I know,
Well, we are
Has-
the general change of the
Yes.
area, but this would be affected, this property. There's big signs out there, if anyone didn't see them.
may I ask, just for the record, has the applicant even
We
brought
did
an
speak to
application in?
we did speak to the person from 75 North Kensco. There's no application before the planning
There
board.
is no
yet,
application at
but
this
I did
time.
speak to them, and they're aware of this proposal.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lord.
On the drainage issue, because it's a heavy topic for the town and a very expensive one, we recently received a final study. This has been studied ad nauseum for many years. It's a very extensive study. The next phase would be, okay, how do we correct it? How do we finance it? Where do we start? It just does not include just the town of Mount Pleasant. You got the MTA, you have New York State DOT, you have the rail MTA, and you have also the Springbrook Parkway, Bronx River Parkway. All these areas affect the drainage in this Hawthorne area. So it's not a simple fix, but it is something that is being designed, and the cost factor will be examined. We don't want anybody to think that we're ignoring this. I visited some homes that were flooded out. It's a disaster. Many of these homes, basically are useless the way they are right now. So we do care about it. We are working on it. Unfortunately, we're talking probably $6 to $12 million of drainage work would need to be done to help correct, but you never solve an issue like this when you have 6 to 8 inches of rain within an hour. Nothing will prevent that, because the water has to go to a lower level. If you don't have that lower level, it's not going there. So just so you know that it's not forgotten and we are working on the drainage system. Anyone else like to speak about the local law, building coverage?
Mario De Palma from Valhalla. Mario De Palma from Valhalla. What is the overall height allowed on these buildings in the transition zone? I know it affects the square footage of the footprint.
35 feet, and not proposed to be changed, 35 feet.
35 feet. Okay, so effectively 3 stories.
Yeah, let me just take a look. Hold on, I want to say it wrong. For multi-family buildings, again, other things are being reviewed too. Multi-family is,
I thought 3 was a max.
I think it's 2.5.
2.5.
but I'll double check.
2.5 with the third setback.
Yeah.
Height is, of course, you moved the, sorry, give me 1 second. Three stories, 40 feet.
So how does this affect the overall plan for what was shown as going on 75 North Kensico?
What you saw in that drawing was a conceptual drawing. It was not, that wasn't a formal plan to build something.
Okay.
That was the
What
concept.
it essentially do, though, if I may, what the thought process here is that the coverage could change, but they were 40% coverage initially, and they had a 40,000 square foot building like this. The thought process was that assuming the coverage was the same at 40 feet, because the impervious surface is only 55% of the site, the building would be a lot smaller if it was a multifamily building. The FAR brings the mass essentially of a building down.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak about the lot coverage?
Good to see you.
My name is Ken Murray. I have a small multifamily here in town. And this is a question rather than a comment. Are existing properties, as they are now, grandfathered, or could changes be contemplated to an existing impervious surfaces? I provide parking on premises to tenants, level walking surfaces, so, you know, it has walkways and stuff like that, and parking areas on the premises. Is there any change that could affect my existing house?
I don't believe you affect existing property.
Assuming you're in the Hamlet zone?
Yes, it is. We got one of those nice little signs on our property, which looks like the property's condemned, but, you know.
Well, people were complaining they weren't noticed, so we wanted to make sure they could see it, but,
Everybody saw it.
yeah. You have to look at each property, but if you're an existing zoning, you're grandfathered in. The Hamlet zone that was changed 2-3 years ago, made it actually, you can do a lot of different things that you probably couldn't do before. Now, this is just trying to limit that a little bit for certain properties in the transition area to make the ability to redevelop it less of a burden to the neighboring properties. So smaller buildings, but you're probably not, is the answer, especially if you're existing.
It's existing, and no changes are contemplated. It's just,
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to start digging up driveways or something.
No, it doesn't impact what's there.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good to see you.
Anyone else wish to speak on the lot coverage?
Hey everybody, Russell Jonas, Valhalla. How you doing? I just wanted to raise a point about the road. When I travel on Kensico Avenue, it's First of all, it's poorly maintained.
North Kensico?
North Kensico, sorry. So, say I'm traveling up or down. Usually, if I'm traveling up, there are a bunch of cars parked to the left, and the oncoming downward traffic is usually going pretty fast. And so on the right-hand side, there's a big crease in the road, and it makes it really difficult to pass there without getting into a rut. And I can imagine that what's going to happen with the multifamily being developed there would be similar to what happened a little bit higher up that road with the condos, which is that the planned amount of parking there is going to spill over into the street, and it's going to cause a problem with the traffic flow there. So I just wanted to express that concern and make sure that that's contemplated in the plan. That there should be, the usable road should actually be usable, because it's very likely to actually be narrowed by practically cars getting parked over there.
This project has not moved forward anywhere. Once this project, if it does go to the planning board, traffic has to be studied, drainage has to be studied, all these things have to come into play, and the public will have the opportunity to voice their opinion about those items. That's what the planning board process is for.
Great. All right. Thank you. Thanks for letting me say that.
Thanks.
Hi, Michael Marvin, 44 Prospect, in Valhalla. I just want to double down on kind of what Russell said about that road as well. I share his same sentiments. I drive it every single day. The one question I had for you here, I saw the rezoning map. What percentage are you guys talking about where it's going to be either a multifamily house or retail or other type of, is it all going to be multifamily housing? Like, what exactly are we looking at? I just don't know. I'm just asking.
I'm not understanding the question.
So the whole map, the rezoning map, is it the board's vision that it's going to be all multifamily housing?
Let me try to answer. So there's an existing, about 5 years ago, board did considered a new comprehensive plan. They did that, they passed it, 3 years ago? 2
Sure.
years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
That was for the whole town.
Yeah, right.
Part of it was considering what to do in the houses, certain specific areas, Valhalla, Hawthorne, Thornton. As they did this, the recommendations, and everyone was in the meetings of hundreds of people there, that we want to have a little more density in those areas.
Sure.
So 3 years ago, whenever it was, when you passed the comprehensive plan and the zoning, the hamlets were rezoned to allow for those type of uses, townhouses, multifamily, mixed use, and commercial buildings, and how they get designed and how they'll look in these specific areas. So they added on the 75 North Kensico, which was contiguous, and then they looked at it and said, wait a minute, in the Valhalla area, there's a lot of areas right next to the residential properties. Sure. So we looked at it and thought the buildings were too large potentially for those, what we'll call transition properties. So the board now is saying, well, wait a minute, maybe those transition properties that are near the residential properties should be smaller. They still have those uses which were allowed to some extent before anyway.
Yeah, I get all of it. I get all of that there, thank you. But I guess my question is, in the transition zones, is there any idea, mock-up of what it's going to, of what the board's vision of what this is going to look like? Or is it just, as you sell the land, what the developers are going to?
Well, first off, we don't own the land. And we don't build.
Right.
Okay.
No, I think so. A lot of communities are doing that. They're downtowns, transit-oriented development of having more density in there. Some of the Valhalla stores are empty.
Right.
It's okay. So hey, maybe if you have a property and you want to add a story onto your property, you're allowed to do that now. Okay. And you can have more people in town. It'd be cheaper living quarters for whether they're young kids or older people that don't want to pay for the taxes anymore. They can stay in town. And then what do? Then you go downstairs and you walk to the ice cream place and the pizza place and the Chinese restaurant, whatever it is. So that's the thought process on all these things, to do that way back when in just the hamlets, in the downtown areas, staying away from. And then they were close to the residential zones. That's why the transition is the thought process now to add on to it, to look at it again. But yeah, that's the thought. Like, does someone want to, hey, I can spend X number of dollars, I can add 3 apartments, I can have more people move into the downtown, I can make some money, my return on investment is X, it's good for me, and it's good for the Hamlet area. That's the thought.
Yeah.
And that's the general thought in planning in general around Westchester County and every sort of suburb that has the downtown areas.
Yeah. No, I get that.
This takes 10 to 20 years.
I also think it's a moving target too, like.
No,
like,
no, and that's.
We
kinda
know
what
we
it
want to
is.
see the Hamlet revitalize and
Yes.
be more busy.
Yes.
But until certain projects come before us, I guess for me personally, I don't know, I don't have an exact vision. It's almost like it will move and it might vary.
I figured that,
as
and
things
I
come before.
appreciate your answer, Darius. I was just,
Yeah.
like I said, I was just more curious about the philosophy.
So this example was just multifamily. It's not mixed use. It's not retail.
Okay.
That property that came before us.
It's like an example of Elwood Avenue in Hawthorne.
Mm-hmm.
I'm born and raised in the area. There's been no investment there in over 50 years.
Yeah.
So our thinking in the master plan was, do we create incentives for people to improve their properties? Give them the ability to maybe go up a level, if that would help investment. So that was our whole thinking, plus it wasn't just the board involved, it was probably 500-600 people
Yeah,
were involved
easily.
in the planning process.
I think, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think we do want to see an improvement in the inlet zones. It's obviously how we do it. We want to do it smartly.
What's your vision? Just curiosity. You live in the area?
Yeah, I live right on top of the hill overlooking
So what-
Valhalla.
what-
So I'll be looking on top of all this, which is why I'm definitely here tonight. I want to see the stores filled. I want to see just smart planning of these unused space or underused spaces. I don't think anyone here wants a monstrosity.
No, I don't
And
think
we just
we-
want to be informed, it's all, and we appreciate keeping this hearing open.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
this sort of came about because I think we all thought it was too big.
Yeah.
And when you see it, because you don't really know until you see it, and then you see it, you're like, well, some people thought it looked good, but then you're like, oh, you hear other points of view, and you say, maybe there's something we can do to not impact the residential properties as much, but still have that same thought process to, better the Hamlet downtown areas.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Just one note, I don't know if everyone in the room, maybe some of the old timers remember, the master plan of the town of Mount Pleasant hadn't been revised since 1970. It was truly under the direction of the supervisor, Carl Fulgenzi, with the board previous to those of us sitting here, but I've been here since the whole process. And it was time consuming, and it was, how can I say, it was what we thought it would be, comprehensive. For those of you that do live in town at this time and were here 4 or 5 years ago when we undertook this project, it was intensive. It was labor intensive, time intensive. We were throughout town in the community center, at the recreational facilities. We have many members sitting here, some residents that did participate in all the gathering of the information. We listened to what you wanted, but we have also said the master plan is a living, breathing document. It will be tweaked. It will be changed. We will listen, and that's what this board does. But to think that it's 2025 and we were under the same guidelines as 1970, that's not the appropriate way to run government. So please know, we did it with the best intentions, and now we're going through the process. Every day we learn different things about this. All right? I just want to put that out there because that is the philosophy, and I believe you brought that word up, philosophy, behind all of this. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Russell from Hawthorne. Unfortunately, the master plan also opened the door to overdevelopment, and that's what we see with this proposal in Valhalla at 75 North Kensico. That's where the impetus for these amendments and other things have come from. People have spoken out, and it's just, that's not a place for an apartment building, whether it's 34 units or 24 units. Even the master plan said that in transition zones, 2-family homes might be appropriate. That's what I think might be appropriate. I think a developer should be open to that. And this amendment here tonight, it really doesn't make that proposal any more acceptable. According to the proposal from the developer, he said that there'd be 40.7% of coverage. So even if we reduce it to 50%, it could be the same size. I think we really need to have open discussions here, public information session before we vote on this, because it's a big issue. And I hope we can do that before we have the next
What are we
meeting.
doing right now? Are we
What?
discussing it?
No, I think a little less formal. This is a formal testimony for a public hearing.
Well,
I
the
think what we
public
like
has
to
a
do
right
is
to voice their
go to,
opinion.
I think going to like the rec center where we started this whole process and let people come in and express their ideas about what they'd like to see in Valhalla.
Were you involved in the master plan?
I came to the meetings, yes.
Yeah.
That's what the
There's
purpose
only,
of it
there were
was.
only 2 or 3 of them, but
No,
it did
I
open
feel
up
to
this,
differ on that.
this process of development. And that can be a threat to small communities like Valhalla. We have to be very careful, I think, before we come in with proposals like this one. And we shouldn't really approach it in a spot zoning type of way that we want to fix this particular property to make it more acceptable to the residents and therefore pass some Valhalla-only amendment. I don't think that's really a great approach. And even for this proposal, it doesn't go over all the other types of properties like one-story connected or mixed-use buildings, which would have 80% and 90% of respective coverage and impervious surfaces. So there's a whole variety of types of buildings that could be put in that spot, and this only addresses one. So by opening it up to a public information session, I think we could discuss a lot more instead of just restricting it to public hearings where people don't really have the knowledge to express an opinion. You really have to talk things out before a public hearing, before you can express an intelligent opinion on it. So I would appreciate if you could consider
Thank you.
doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How long have we been talking about this property? Anyone else like to speak about the lot coverage?
Hi, Mark. Russell Jonas, Valhalla. You asked about our vision for the town, or what Mike's might have been. It seems to me that the parkway that bisected the town's commercial area, 100 years ago, long before us, we were here, that's like the root of the problem of the vitality of the town's center. You can't get across from one side to the other. You can't get off the parkway because of the traffic flow there. It's congested and there aren't entrances and exits. And when you do get off, there's no place to park. So, I would think that my vision for the town would include some traffic flow there. I know it's complex because probably that's not all controlled by the town. So I don't know where the appropriate place would be to talk about that vision. But I did want to raise that since you opened the door to it. And I'd like to know when would be the right time to make those type of suggestions or envision those type of plans.
Say, send an email anytime, and an invitation to chat or something, along those lines. Be
We
happy
would
to.
welcome ideas on creating additional parking, traffic flow.
Yeah, it's a
We're
tough
not-
area.
We're not specialists here. We appreciate input from the public.
I know Scarsdale, very similar with the Bronx River Parkway. They benefited from a large county project when they rebuilt the Crane Road Bridge and redid the paths and the entrances into the village. And that's a county road, It's like you said, a lot of it is our hands tied in terms of entrance ramps and exit ramps and whatnot. But we always try to make do with what we can.
Yeah,
But input is great.
Well, it's a difficult balance because you don't want to open it up for too much traffic, and at the same time, it just shuts it off for business.
That's a good point.
be
Damned if you do, damned if you don't, almost.
Right. Yeah.
And the dam created a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
Thank
no
you.
pun intended.
Thanks. One thing with the other Hamlin areas, there are some improvements happening with parking and sidewalk building and road infrastructure improvements to help that area. Valhalla is unique, obviously.
Anyone else like to speak on this land use issue?
How are you?
Paddock, 137 Prospect Avenue. You were talking about multifamily houses, and I was wondering what defines a multifamily? Like how many units are in a multifamily when we're talking about this transition area?
I have to look at the code. I have some of it in front of me, but surfing our code is not the easiest at times, so especially on the fly. So there is a definition in the code, though, of the E-code Mount
I'm
Pleasant.
not sure the code, I just know like when I look it up, it says, and this is in the code, multifamilies typically refer to properties with 2 to 4 units, while large rentals often imply 5 or more units. Usually an apartment building with properties 2 to 4 units are often considered residential, while those with 5+ are considered commercial. So that's my question. Are we addressing commercial buildings in this area? Are we addressing residential building in this area? I want a little clarification.
What you have right now in the hamlet is commercial and residential, multiple units on top of the commercial. The idea was not to eliminate that or expand it. It's all up to that particular application. If somebody comes in and says, you don't want to put 10 units here, no, it's not going to work. But that's all part of the planning process. On that particular property that we're talking about, it's what's going to fit there properly. You got to meet the requirements for the impervious surfaces and everything else. So if you can't meet all those requirements, the building's going to get smaller and smaller.
And does that also include the parking part of it?
Yes.
Not only the living part of the building?
Yes, pervious.
All
Because
right.
you're eliminating drainage by putting a building there, the water can't drain. Or a parking lot. Right.
Pervious, yeah. They do pervious, but that's very expensive. Driveways, parking, sidewalks, paths, potential patios, things like that. Stoops.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else like to speak on this topic? Again, your comments are welcome. You can email us with your thoughts and ideas. And it'll be part of the whole process. Our next public hearing will be September 9th.
Yep.
If the board sees fit, the resolution 28625 will keep this hearing open until September 9th.
So moved.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Is it okay for a 2-minute recess?
No.
Okay, you want to keep on going? Okay. All right.
Darius, just to answer that question, I found a multifamily building in our E-code under the master plan, a residential building containing 3 or more dwelling units that are vertically and horizontally integrated. So just simply 3 or more.
Good find.
I'm on there, Mark. Give me a page, or give me a chapter.
Let's see, I am in chapter,
Internet's a little slow here right now.
hang on,
You want to take 5? I guess we already did.
Okay, I guess you already did.
section 218-68.
218?
Yeah, 218-68 Hamlet zoning.
Okay, thank you.
You cut it?
Okay, we're back. Moving on to the supervisor's report. Authorization to approve 16 Grandview Lane, 19 Grandview Lane, 20 Grandview Lane, and 18 Hilltop Lane in Thornwood to connect to the town of Mount Pleasant's Kensico Water District. This is a new water main that is in Rolling Hills. For each resident to tie in, there is a cost to each resident to enter into that district. It's an amount of $10,760. And this covers the water main installation and typical tapping fee, cost requested service connection from the water main to the property line. The resident would take that from the property line into their home at their own cost.
I'll move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, purchase order 144-2501, engineering software. This is an annual subscription fee. It's for all the design and infrastructure work. Total cost is $5,427.21, submitted by David Smith, our town engineer.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is purchase order for a plan review for a new building at 146 Broadway in Hawthorne. Project estimated cost to be $839,000. Building permit fee is $12,675, and the review cost is $2,700.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is purchase order 830-2314. This is an amended purchase order. Include required additional work for paving and unforeseen circumstances and other related items in the amount of $500,000, submitted by David Smith.
Move for approval?
Motion by Mark,
Second?
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is from SGD Landscaping. It's the contractor that takes care of Banks Hill Cemetery in Pleasantville. As you may or may not know, when a cemetery is abandoned, the town or village has to take over the maintenance of that property. So the total cost for the year is $2,400. There are times we get hit with a tree coming down or a problem with a tombstone or something. The rates are $60 per hour per laborer to make those repairs.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second. Oh, Tom, that's you.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to adopt complete streets policy. Request for the town board to adopt a complete streets policy to promote the construction of multiple use roadways that consider the feasibility of including features that would promote its use by an enhanced safety for pedestrian, bicyclists, users of public transportation, school bus riders, motorists, movers of commercial goods, persons with disabilities, senior citizens, and emergency service providers. The adoption of this policy will require that multiple modes and use of our roadways is considered for all users of all our town roads. It is recommended the town board to adopt this policy.
The motion for approval, please?
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next one is authorization to hire Westchester Wetland Services. This is an advisory group for our planning board and the CAC. Currently, there are 3 applications seeking this third-party review. It is not a cost to the town. The applicant pays for this, the cost of this service.
Yeah.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle.
Second.
Second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, authorization to accept fire access easement at 25 Meadowbrook Road in Pleasantville as part of an approved minor subdivision resolution condition fulfillment.
Move for approval?
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to accept the stormwater maintenance and access agreement between the town of Mount Pleasant and 15 Bratters LLC.
Move for approval?
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to accept the stormwater maintenance and access agreement between the town of Mount Pleasant and Toll Brothers Incorporated.
So moved.
Tom, you're quick tonight. Motion by Tom,
That was wrong.
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to approve 2 deeds from Toll Brothers for 3 parcels in fulfillment of 12/16/24 Toll Brothers Kensico Preserve Site Plan Resolution Conditions number 14 and 15. The town attorney has prepared, reviewed, and approved the attached deeds, which are now ready for approval by the town. I believe this is the property the town is getting from Toll Brothers for recreational use,
It's for the town use.
town use. Yeah, I remember that.
We got approximately 20 acres with the potential for the sidewalk. It's 20 acres of land now. So we got the deeds, we got the title policy, we're ready to sign it and get it. Good.
Very good.
Long time coming. I
Yes.
would
pretty
make a motion for this, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to extend water supply agreements with the town of Newcastle. Authorization is requested for the town board to approve extending the water supply agreements with the town of Newcastle to permit the continual supply of water to our Mill River, Old Farm, and Apple Hill water districts. These agreements are in effect for a period of 10 years and are required to supply our 3 water districts with water from Newcastle. It is recommended, that the town board approve these agreements, as per David Smith, our town engineer.
Move for approval.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to remove 52 Larry's Lane, Pleasantville, New York, and 62 Larry's Lane, Pleasantville from New York, from the county sawmill sewer district. We get this all the time where a property cannot connect to Mount Pleasant sewer system.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's see. Authorization is requested to accept the performance bond for site work at Kingsview Acres. The amount of $463,631.30. The original performance bond is being held in the Controller's Department.
Make a motion for approval, please.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
No.
Next item, authorization for the town supervisor to sign the final version of the intermunicipal agreement for EV charging stations between the County of Westchester and the Town of Mount Pleasant, as well as 4 revised contracts from INF Associates LLC in order to move forward with this project. Problem is, there's no power for them.
Oh my, so we're a work in progress. So I'll move that we go ahead with the authorization, and then we'll wait to see what happens. Thank you.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to approve a pilot agreement with CA Apartments Housing Development Fund Company and FFAH CAA New York LLC for 100 College Avenue in Sleepy Hollow. We've had extensive conversations on this topic with Sleepy Hollow, and we seem to have come to an agreement.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization for street closing permits. Holly Bruni at close Marietta Avenue from Pearl Street to Lexington Avenue on Saturday, August 16th from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Rain date Sunday, August 17th, same period of time. Jessica Smith, authorization to request to close Jefferson Avenue from Edgewood Avenue to Albany Avenue, Saturday, August 30th, from noon to 9 p.m. No rain date. Samantha Patiglieri, authorization request to close Milton Drive from Arnold Place to Whittier Drive on Sunday, August 31st, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. No rain date.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's see. Next item, authorization to ratify a memorandum of understanding between the Town of Mount Pleasant and the CSEA Blue Collar Collective Bargaining Unit for a water and sewer department employee effective September 1st, 2025.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization is requested to close town hall and town offices for Records Management Day on Friday, September 5th, 2025.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's see, receiver of taxes report. Let's see. Shows all the taxes collected to date. See if we have a interest rate.
See one.
Those are all the taxes paid out to the school districts.
Don't see an interest rate yet.
The investment report?
I'm sorry?
Or is that the investment report?
Yeah, but there isn't anything there.
The town's
There
current
we
rate
go,
of interest is
3.75.
3.75?
Yes,
Page 416 of our agenda.
yes, that's true.
And counting.
Very
And
long
counting.
agenda.
I'm not that fast.
Speed read.
All right. Moving on to council reports. Councilman Saliano?
No, business from the floor.
I'm sorry,
Emily.
No, business from the
too
floor.
excited here. Business from the floor. Anyone wish to address the town board at this time with any topic within reason is welcome to do so at this time.
Just a couple of questions. The proposed improvement plan for Elwood Avenue, including the circle and the 4 lots across the street from the train station. Are those in stone?
The parking area is, yeah,
Okay, but the parking area didn't go for any kind of site plan approval.
no, it didn't require it, no.
Why wasn't it required?
It's a IDA project, which is independent of that, does not require that.
So for IDA projects, so this is what I did. I foiled for it, and that's the answer I got, what you gave me. So I looked up New York State law, Article 18-A. New York State General Municipal Law, industrial development agencies are established to promote and encourage to industrial development, while 18A outlines the powers and duties of IDA. The requirements for planning board approval for industrial development projects are generally determined by the local zoning and land use regulations, which are influenced by Article 18A and other sections of General Municipal Law. So my question is, that area is, I'm hoping, is supposed to be like a central, a central hub to promote interest for the town, right, and residents, a
It's
gathering
to-
space of
it's to
sorts.
promote parking, business. It's not for commuters. It's strictly for the business people on Elwood Avenue to be able to have a place to park and for customers to park there. To be
Okay, so that had a board, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Like, all right, so those members of the board, did they take any input? Because I didn't see it. And what I don't want to see is parking getting shoehorned in there. And,
It's all been designed by a town engineer.
right, so, point being, so by the county engineer?
Or town engineer.
Town engineer. Okay, so, the minimum width of roadways, I looked all through our code, I didn't see it. I believe it's supposed to be 12 feet on the county level, so 11-foot width plow
You
can
talking about the
traverse it.
road or the parking lot?
Well, all passable roadways. So, but in the parking lot, so
That
since
was-
I don't know what's in the parking lot, that's my
The
question.
roadway was designed by Manganaro Engineering Firm,
Per DOT.
yes.
So, again, my question is, you guys had the meetings, I went there, I saw them, we all contributed. Then there was, suggestions, this is a possibility what's gonna be. If I could go back to the possible traffic circle or roundabout, whatever it's called, at that central location. My issue with that is there's 2 spots that's sort of like in front of Pop's Deli that has a in and out arrow, and then a traveling wise, I don't know if that's pedestrian, because there's not that much detail. But those 2 spots are impossible for cars to park there. There's not enough backup area, there's not enough backup lane, and that's not gonna go nowhere. I don't know what the 4 lots opposite the train station are looking like, because I haven't seen it. So I'm assuming from the proposed, the last one I saw was about 2/3 parking and
I
a
gave
third of
copy-
green space.
I gave a copy the other day to the Hawthorne Fire Department.
Right. I haven't seen Fran, I haven't gotten it, but, so my issue is, even though it went in IDA, we didn't see it, I didn't see it, I'm gonna be selfish, I wanna see it. I didn't see it. IDA should still have a site plan approval for it, regardless of who's funding it. And, the businesses that are there, I know there's parking behind the Ryland building, and the not the commuters, the
private.
residents.
That's private.
That's private, okay. So then we have the street parking as well. So, and by the way, I like the bulb outs and I like the sidewalks, I think that looks fantastic, and I think the lighting and the, what's it called, greenery? I don't know what the
Trees.
word is. Yeah, I think it's gonna, I truly, I think I'm the only one who likes it. I don't know anybody who doesn't like it, everybody's complaining about it, I don't care about them, care about me, I'm gonna be selfish here. But my question is, that space that's gonna be for parking, I don't know how many parking spaces are there, and again, I'm being selfish, I don't know how many parking
30
spaces. are there.
30 spaces.
30 spaces, so 30 spaces. What's the standard parking space for, in the town of Mount Pleasant, with length and width? I don't know, I couldn't
And
find
an
it.
engineer, I don't know.
Right, but,
9 by 18 probably.
so if it's 9 by 18, 30 spaces, we have a Mafia block wall that's going up back there as well. Kind of looks like we're shoehorning in some stuff. So my issue is, it didn't go to site plan. I didn't see it. It should go to site plan, because,
The site plan is, it's apples and oranges, but an IDA generally does a project. for a private developer seeks benefits, those have to go to site plan. When the IDA owns land, which it owns here, it's exempt.
Well, it doesn't say exempt here.
Well, it's two different things.
Well, it's not two different things, because this is IDA. It's
I
from
don't
the
want to
state.
argue with you, but I'm just telling you.
I'm not arguing with you either, I'm just reading what the state says.
And I'm telling you what it's referenced to, you gotta read the entire statute.
I did. It doesn't say that.
What am I gonna tell you?
Well, listen, what I told you.
So you're gonna argue with me?
No, but pointing out, look, listen, if I gotta go past reference and past, what you said about the Knox box law was wrong as well. I was right on that.
What did
There
I
was-
say about the Knox box law?
You said that I was quoting the wrong code, and I was quoting the right code, and we didn't have to pass it because it's already in the building
Can we,
code that
can we
we
get
approved.
to the point?
Anyway.
No recollection.
You want to submit
All right.
any of your questions? I'll give them to Manganaro, and I'll give them to.
Well, I think
David
we should
Smith.
see it, because I think that should be a place, like, because we all gathered and the public had all input in there. I don't think the parking is a number one priority there. I think a central location where people can gather, there could be music there could be sculptures there could be gatherings there could be a multitude of items that could enhance the community. Parking doesn't enhance the community. And I get that we have a limited area, and we have a nail shop on the left, and then we have some other shops on the right, you know, with the wine shop and the insurance agency and the deli that opened up and all those items there. I don't think that the best use for that space is 30 spaces for
Well,
parking.
you have a right to your opinion. This is something that's been discussed for probably 4 years.
Right,
for this
and I was
particular
there.
Property. The town foreclosed on a property that was there. The IDA made the town whole over $300,000 that the town lost in taxes. The IDA took care of that. The IDA is also making all the improvements without any taxpayer dollars. We thought this would be a benefit to local businesses, which is an IDA purpose, and also adding some green space there, which could be picnic tables or gazebo in the future, whatever. We believe that this was a nice improvement to that area.
Agreed. Anything that would be a nicer improvement to that area, because it was just a barren wasteland. I get it. And the old Bel Paese that was there, that sat vacant forever, get it. But what I'm saying is, if there was we had several meetings for public input, and then it stopped, and then it comes up, and it's like, this is the final. We didn't see the final. I'm looking for the final.
I just said that I gave it.
I did.
I didn't have to give it to Fran. I gave it to him.
But we're the public.
What are you trying to say? Well, hide something?
No, what I'm saying is, if we're asking for it, why can't we see it?
You can. You just asked.
You foiled it. we just didn't get it to you yet. Dave's on vacation. You just foiled it.
Understood. Yes, I know I just foiled it. But what I'm saying is, if there was a project that we've been working on, like just some updates about it. Now it's set in stone, and this is what's going to be there.
But you don't like it.
No, I don't like it. I don't
A
think.
lot
I
of
don't.
people do like it, so.
That's fine.
I can't make everybody in town happy.
Understood. But what I'm saying is, it wasn't presented. Is what I'm saying. It got to the point where there was a gathering of ideas, and then there wasn't any, and then this is it. Instead of saying, okay, these are the final three, or however it was. I'm going to refer back to, just site plan approval, so everyone gets to see this is what's going on. So site plan has, because, just to put on paper.
I didn't think we needed site plan approval for it.
According to Darius, you don't. You didn't.
Well, you could debate this for 10 years. You didn't like the project. It was out. You didn't like it.
No, I never got a chance to not like it, is what I'm saying.
Well, you're making your point
This went
now.
on for 5 years at the IDA.
You don't like it.
The IDA had public meetings, public.
And I was there.
Public
And
issues.
there was nothing
And
definite.
There was a concept, and if you remember, Bel Paez was there.
Right.
The IDA spent the money to take down an abandoned building, right? You remember that?
Yes.
You remember too that we sent out an RFEI, do you remember that?
Yes.
And got no responses, do you remember
Right.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
So they had many concept thought process, and the IDA board decided, not this board. 'cause they
I didn't
voted.
say this board. I didn't say this board.
So they wanted to put a parking lot and a sitting area for people that to sit and enjoy and have lunch. That was their vision for their property that they owned. What you would prefer there, I don't know.
Right, but so what I'm saying is,
You
even
could
if the
make public
IDA is
comment on it. You
right.
could have bid on the project if you
So
wanted.
what I'm saying is, even if you could have bid on a project too. What I'm saying is, even if the IDA is putting something there, it should still go through site plan approval.
So is it the use issue or the site plan issue?
Well, site plan, because then I could see it and I can make comment on it.
In the same way, you don't like the use?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it. All I have is an idea of
Have
what
you
it
been
looks
on a
like.
merry-go-round? I'm on one now. Debated forever.
We talked about the concept there for years.
Understood, but what I'm saying is, the concept was spoken about, but it was never finalized.
I didn't know I needed approval for it, I'll be honest with you.
I'm not accusing anybody of
The
anything, I'm
IDA
just saying,
The IDA approved the use of the property.
right, but I don't know who's on the IDA board either. Like,
It's public information.
I couldn't find it, so I searched for it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
There's been machines there for over a year.
yes.
You
Seen
knew
them.
something was happening.
Yeah.
Why are you only coming to us now?
Because there was no information on it, and now that there is information on it, I was asking about it.
You could have come at any time and found out anything you want on that property.
Right, because at the times that I did ask about it, nothing was finalized, nothing was finalized.
We
Now
had
it's finalized.
We had preliminary drawings for the past over 2 years, preliminary study. We didn't know what was gonna happen with the rock yet, how much room we're gonna have. Now we have a wall that we know exactly what kind of room we have.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I didn't see any of that. That's why I was waiting for I was waiting for that to go for site plan approval.
But you know that they would not have started that wall if they didn't have site plan approval.
Right, but when I spoke
so
to
you should have asked the question
Saraceno-
then.
When I spoke to Carolyn Saraceno, she says, I don't have that. It was never on, because before I foiled, I said, what date did I miss? Because I was like, I don't think I missed a date. And I gave her all the dates that I've been to, and she says, I don't have that on here. I don't have that on the calendar. It wasn't in our past calendars. So that's why I was like, there's no way I missed this.
It didn't go to a planning board process.
Right, and I found that, that's when I found out.
Because it was
Okay.
exempt, because it's an
But it's
IDA
not.
project.
Okay, so I don't,
What answer are you looking for?
right, you're reading it one way, Darius is reading it another. We can, like he said, we can sit here and debate it all
Right,
night. What's done is done, right? It did not need site plan according to them. Construction has started. Listen, I think your idea is sweet, a place for people to go and listen to music and whatnot, but where are all those people gonna park if there's no parking right there? You can't make that
Right,
whole
but that's why we have
thing
sidewalks
a
and people coming down
meeting
here, right.
area. We need additional parking down there. The businesses have expressed that to us. We have to provide additional parking. So there is gonna be a little bit of a green space. You can go play your music there.
No, I'm not playing music. I listen to music. Nobody wants to hear me play music. What I'm saying is, I was waiting for it to come to planning board.
Understood.
Just like everything comes for site plan approval, anything
Not
that's
everything.
big.
If you build a single-family home, you don't need site plan approval.
I understand, but any large-scale project will
Why-
require,
if-
commercial requires.
So is
site
your
plan
ultimate
approval.
ask that in the future, a large-scale project, this goes for either public comment or?
Right, and so what I'm saying is, I never saw it, and that's why when I spoke to Carolyn, I was like, how did I miss this?
You
And then she
didn't
said
see it
did.
because it didn't need to be provided.
Right, but it
But now
does.
you have foiled it and you'll get it as soon
If
as
someone
David
builds
gets
a
back.
single-family home, are you gonna require site plan approval for you?
On a new single-family home, it should be, yes.
I don't think the code requires it.
Well, no, you asked me what my opinion was, and I said on a new single-family home, a site plan approval should be required, because we should have a light landscaping plan to go along with it in order to match the needs of native species and plants and so forth, and so we're not just building, square box.
I get it.
That's all I'm asking.
I see what you're
Not-
saying.
It's not an accusatory question, response, comment, or anything like that. It's like, I know I didn't miss it, and now I know I didn't miss it, but it still should have had some site plan approval is what I'm saying.
Noted.
Should I leave this to
Thank you.
somebody?
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
I'll
you.
take it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You
Carl.
go to a firehouse in
Do
France.
you want your notes on it, Carla?
No.
Do you want this posted?
I'm dorky enough to have copies.
Okay.
Is it gonna be on the website?
What's that?
The finalized plan, will it be on the town website?
Probably, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, I got caught up in this. The traffic circle. We have many items there that are close to the town, traditional to the town. The tree, the fire department statue, the war memorials, everything that's there. I'm speaking for myself again on this. I love that stuff. I love that tradition. I don't think we should. I don't think anything that's been dedicated, we should lose any of that. Just keep that in mind. I guess it's not going to go for site plan approval as well, but just keep that in mind. I get it. It's a county road and whatever. There's other the facts in there.
There's not a final design on that either.
And we've discussed all those monuments.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they're not going anywhere. Move on to our Emily and our town clerk's report.
Thank you. Town clerk's report, town board meeting, August 12th, 2025. Public hearing to consider a proposed local law prohibiting battery energy storage systems within the town. Public hearing to consider a proposed local law amending Town Code Chapter 211-8 rates for water consumption. Public hearing to consider a proposed local law amending Chapter 218 of the Town Code building lot coverage requirements. And received and filed new house number for 715 Bellevue Avenue, Thornwood. One planning board resolution for the NYC DEP CRO-594 at 2 Walker Road for a wetland permit. 4 zoning board resolutions, Stephanie and Peter Son, 285 Warren, Estate of Charlotte Walsh, 94 Robert Place, Ronald Beckley, 85 Kensico Avenue North, and Mark Paracelli, 24 Pine Road, and 1 notice of claim from Tempesta Gario.
Item 4 would be referred to our town attorney. Councilman Saliano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My report's the Comptroller's memo. The following claims are submitted for town board approval. From the Justice Court, $204.50. From the Supervisor's Office, $1,045.84. From the Comptroller's Office, $35. Category of Receiver of Taxes, $2,194.72. From Assessment, $233.77. From the Town Clerk's Office, $545.84. From Attorney, we got Bond, Shonick and King, PLLC, Harris Beach, $9,625. From Building Town Hall, $18,743.15. Municipal Association dues, $2,300. Special Consulting Services, $2,700. Traffic Control, $1,255. Off-street Parking, $1,000. From the category Public Safety, $2,160. Safety Inspection, $5,800. Publicity, $779. Senior Citizens Trip, $1,600. From the category of Parks, $9,292.45. From Adult Programs, $4,375. From Pool, $17,048.63. From the category of Youth Programs, $5,396.66. Youth Day Camps, $43,400. General Repairs, $41,811.07. From the category of Highway Machinery, $5,806.88. Capital Consolidated Sewer District, Improvement District, $274,103. Capital Old Farm Water, $37,565. Kensico Capital Projects, $236,450.12. Special Drainage District, $23,329.84. Consolidated Lighting District, $1,255. Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, $7,957.12. Joint Water District Fund, $3,545.32. Mechanical Water District Number 1, $8,986.96. From Kensico Water, $43,181.08. Trust and Agency Escrow, this is from Cleary Consulting, $8,925. The grand total, ladies and gentlemen, $822,650.95. I move for approval, please, and all supporting documentation is in the Controller's office for your review.
Motion by Tom.
Second.
Is that Mark?
Yes, second, sorry. Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The second item is from Noreen McGinty. She's our controller from the Controller's office. This is authorization for budgetary transfers. Authorization for various departmental budget transfers, and the breakdown is, first one is, we're going to transfer $3,000 from B 7311.445 to B 7311.46. This transfer is to cover the cost of camp programs. The second transfer is we're going to transfer $3,000 from B 3120.450 to B 3120.451. This is the transfer. This transfer is to cover the unbudgeted IT costs. And the third transfer, we're going to transfer $50,000 from DB5 110.444 to DB51 110.411. This transfer is to cover the cost of various paving claims unrelated to CHIPS funding. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We had a police officer retire. This is authorization for final lump payment to the police officer employee. It's Walter O'Keefe. First, thanks for your service. Did an outstanding job. We're very thankful for your service to our community. And he've accumulated some vacation, holiday, unsick time per contractual agreement. His lump sum is $55,398.80. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And again, thank you for your service and have an excellent evening.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, fellow board members, residents of Mount Pleasant. My items come to you tonight from our Recreation and Park Department. First is purchase order 70-25-45. This is Royal Coach Inc. This is school bus services for 2025 camp. This includes trips and shuttle services each day to and from our campsites and town pool. Total cost is $113,000. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. My next item, oh, my thing on the side's not working. Is purchase order 70-25-46. The vendor is Center Stage Broadway Sales LLC. This PO is for senior adult tickets to Just in Time on Broadway. It includes the facility fee, mailing fee as well. Total cost is $4,500. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
My next item is purchase order 70-25-47. The vendor is Jersey Dreamers. This is another senior trip to Jersey Dreamers at Brownstone. This includes the tickets to the show as well as a deposit that was required. Total cost is $2,900. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
Second by Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
My last item is purchase order 70-25-48. The vendor is Group Sales Box Office. This is tickets for a Broadway show, Stranger Things, including a handling charge for a total of $3,974.50. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I just have 3 announcements from our Recreation Department. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, the 13th, is concert in the park at Carroll Park, 7 o'clock. Second announcement is U.S. Sports Institute is holding half-day camps for the next 2 weeks at Broadway Field from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. There is still space available. If you're interested, please contact the rec department. My last announcement is starting August 9th, the new pool hours will be as follows. Weekdays will be open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and on the weekends, they will be opened from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Cops and cones.
Well, that's not my department, but
I'll
there's
do it.
also Cops and Cones tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lori, are you going to
Lori?
announce that? Lori's
I
going to
was
announce
going to,
that.
but that's
Okay.
okay. We
Scratch
can
what I
both
just
do it.
said.
No.
I'll be there. I
I
like ice
figured
cream.
Lori would announce.
Yeah.
Spoke at it, Tom.
Yeah,
I'm so
that's
excited
okay.
about that.
Free Carvel, I'll be there.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening.
Thank you. Councilman Saraceno.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, residents, and anybody else out there listening. I have 2 items out of the Highway Department. The first is Resolution 313-25. This is authorization from the Superintendent of Highways being requested to deposit a bond for street opening permit number 6448. The name is Precision Field Testing Incorporated. The bond amount is $10,000, and the address for the work being performed is 895 Sleepy Hollow Road in Briarcliff Manor. Move for approval.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Danielle, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. My second item, Resolution 314-25, also from the Superintendent of Highways, authorization to deposit a bond for street opening permit number 6449. This is for Westchester Masonry and Excavation LLC in the amount of $9,600, and the address is 133 Lakeshore Drive, Pleasantville. With that, I move for approval.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
Lori,
Okay,
all
sorry,
in
Tom.
favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just to clarify, so those deposits are made in the escrow account until the work being performed has been completed and the road is satisfactorily restored, and then the money is returned. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody, and enjoy the final stretch of summer.
Councilwoman Smalley.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, fellow board members, and all of you out there in Mount Pleasant TV land. My report is from the Police Department. The first item is purchase order number 30-25-20. The vendor is Goosetown Communications, North Harrison Avenue, and the description is semi-annual invoice for the logging recorder of one, which is $4,050. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second item is purchase order 30-25-21. The vendor is Logically. This is for authorization to approve the purchase order to refresh the police computer server, to preserve archived data. The fees for the services on the server are $1,675. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Danielle, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The third item this evening is from our police chief, Paul Oliva. Authorization to extend conditional offer of employment to police officer candidate. And I quote, "To fill a vacancy created by a recent retirement, the police department has interviewed candidates to fill this position. A candidate has passed the interview process and is undergoing the necessary background investigation. The police chief is therefore asking for the town board to approve offering the conditional offer of employment to this candidate. Move for approval, please."
Motion by Lori,
Second.
Second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And I am happy to say, Danielle Zano did start the announcement. Tomorrow evening during the concert at Carroll Park will be an event called Cops and Cones. Come out and meet Mount Pleasant's finest and enjoy some ice cream treats brought to you by the police officers of the town of Mount Pleasant. The band tomorrow night will actually be Herd Immunity, and one of our very own judges, Mark Rubio, happens to be one of the band members. They're great. I've seen them many times. The next item is to just ask parents to please be cognizant of the fact that your children are using scooters and bicycles in the dusk and nighttime hours, often at the local shopping centers. Many times, these young individuals do not have helmets on. That's one thing. Also, sometimes their bikes and their scooters are not lit up. On behalf of the police department and the officers who try and keep them safe, please speak to your children about safety, encourage them to wear their helmets, and encourage them to have their scooters, bikes, whatever they're driving, lighted so that we can all see them. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you. Town Attorney, I think we have taxers.
You have two matters, Mr. Supervisor. Number one is for CPD Energy at 154 Broadway in Hawthorne. It's for 4 years, 2020 through 2023, with an estimated town refund of $8,000. And the second, you want to do them together?
Yeah.
The second one is Lighthouse Pleasantville LLC for 2024, and it's for 52 Depew Street, and it is for an estimated $2,500.
Take a motion to approve those
Move-
taxers.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Moving on to our schedule of meetings. Work session will be September 2nd at 7 p.m. Business session Tuesday, September 9th, 7 p.m. If there'll be no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Danielle. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.